Welcome to the arena. Welcome to Mage Wars. Are you ready to see some intense mage on mage battles? If so, you've come to the right place. To learn the game, there's almost no better way than seeing it be played. Lucky for us, there's a couple of old hands about to begin a game. Why don't we go take a look? The easiest way to learn Mage Wars is to see it in action. Most everything you'll find in the game works pretty much the way you would expect it if Magic were real. So seeing how the game plays is a great way to start. To help out, we've prepared this walkthrough, showing the first few rounds of a duel between a Beastmaster and Warlock. If you already have a copy of Mage Wars, we really recommend that you actually go through this walkthrough yourself. And in the instruction manual, there is a walkthrough section. It tells you exactly what cards you need and how to set it up. But right now, no big deal. We've got plenty of action right here in front of us. So let's watch these two go at it. The Mage Wars arena shows 12 square areas called zones. Zones are used to regulate movement and action, and you'll soon see. The combatants in a duel always started out in opposite corners of the arena. You can see the doors they use to enter the battlefield on the game board. This indicates where they start. To keep track of the mages, you will use what we call the Mage Status Board. It has tracks for recording a mage's channeling, mana supply, life value, and any damage he takes. Note that the damage always starts at 0. If a mage takes damage, we count that damage up instead of counting his life down. That's because there's some spells that can raise or lower life without affecting damage. But if a mage ever takes damage equal to or greater than his life, he is destroyed and he loses that match. He's out of the game. Also note that each mage always starts the game with 10 mana in his supply. The other values, channeling and life, may be different depending on what kind of mage you are playing. Back in the arena, we can see that our two mages have assumed their positions in the opposite corners. See how they're marked with two markers? One is called the action marker. It is used to show when the mage takes an action. Every creature that enters the arena will always have an action marker. The other marker is called the quick cast marker. Only the mages get a quick cast marker, and he can use it to take a special quick cast action each round. Okay, enough of the preliminaries. Let's get this battle started. Round 1. Mage Wars is played in a series of rounds. Each round consists of 2 stages. There's the ready stage and there's the action stage. And the mages alternate between these 2 stages until one of them is destroyed. Now you can't start one stage until the previous stage has been completed. Ready stage. During the ready stage, all mages simultaneously plan their actions and do any bookkeeping for that game round. The ready stage is divided into 6 phases, which we play in order. You can see the order of the phases printed on your mage status board. There's the initiative phase. During the first round only, the mages dice off to see who starts the game with the initiative. We use the 12-sided effect die for this. This is also called the D12. Our 2 mages both roll the die. The Beastmaster rolls an 8. The Warlock rolls a 3. Since the Beastmaster rolled higher, he takes the initiative marker. He will act first during the action stage this round. Reset phase. All action markers and quick cast markers are already face up, so everything is already reset for the first round. Channel phase. The Beastmaster and the Warlock both have a channeling of 9, so they each add 9 mana to their mana supply, bringing their totals to 19 mana each, and this is marked on their status boards. Upkeep phase. We can skip this phase for now. The upkeep phase is the bookkeeping phase where certain effects and conditions like burn or regeneration take effect, but there are no upkeep effects in play right now. Planning phase. This is the key to the ready stage. In this round, each player plans which 2 spells they intend to cast during the current game round. Each mage may select up to 2 spells that they want to prepare. You can only cast the spells you prepare for the round. These spells are chosen in secret so your opponent doesn't know what you're planning. For the first round, the Beastmaster chooses his Staff of Beasts and a Timberwolf. The Warlock chooses his Lash of Hellfire and a Firebrand Imp. They set these spells in front of them to show that they have been prepared. deployment phase. We can skip this phase for now too. During this phase, special objects called spawn points can cast spells, but neither mage has any spawn points in play yet, so we're skipping it. Action stage. Now the real action begins. During the action stage, players take turns taking actions with their mage and other creatures they control. After all creatures have acted, the action stage is over. The action stage is a series of turns taken until all action phases have been completed. This will make more sense as we go along. First, we have the quick cast phase. Before the players start taking their action phases, there is a quick cast phase. During this phase, each mage has a chance to use his quick cast action to cast a spell before any creatures can take their actions for the round. The mage with the initiative marker has to decide if he's going to use his quick cast action first. You'll hear more about this in a little bit. Neither mage wants to use his quick cast action yet, so nothing happens in this phase. Action phases. Each round, every creature in the arena gets to take one action phase. Players take turn activating it and taking an action phase with one creature at a time, starting with the player who has initiative. Every time it is your turn to take an action phase, you must choose a creature you would like to act with, which could be your mage. As you'll see later, you can pass your turn if you're outnumbered, but don't worry about that for now. When a creature is activated, you must flip over its action marker. Then you declare what actions the creature will take and execute those actions. Since the Beastmaster has the initiative, he gets the first action phase. Beastmaster action phase. The Beastmaster only has one creature in the arena, himself, so he must activate himself by flipping his action marker face down. Now he can act. When a creature acts, it can either take a full action, or it can instead take a move action followed by a quick action. The Beastmaster decides that he wants to cast his Timberwolf spell to summon a creature to fight by his side. Looking at the Timberwolf spell card, you can see a series of icons across the top of the card. This is called the casting line, and it tells you what you need to know to cast a spell. There's the mana cost, full action icon, range, and target. Let's break it down. The first icon is the mana cost for the spell. A Timberwolf spell costs 9 mana, so the Beastmaster must pay 9 mana from his mana supply, bringing his total down to 10 mana. The second icon tells you what kind of action is required to cast that spell. The symbol is the symbol for a full action. Casting the Timberwolf requires a full action to cast, so the Beastmaster cannot move this round. Actually, just as a note, all creature spells require a full action to cast, not just this Timberwolf. The third icon is the range of the spell. This spell has a range of 0 to 0, meaning that it can only be cast in the same zone as the mage. The two numbers in the icon are the minimum range and the maximum range for the spell, and that is counted in zones. For instance, a spell with a range of 0 to 1 can be cast up to one zone away from the caster. Range is always counted orthogonally, up, down, left, or right, never diagonally. The last information in the casting line is the target of the spell. The target for Timberwolf is zone, so the spell is placed in a zone when it is cast. The Beastmaster places the Timberwolf card face up in the same zone as himself. He has now just summoned a wolf ally. Since the wolf is a creature, it gets its own action marker. Newly summoned creatures always come into play inactive, so its action marker is placed face down. That means that the wolf won't be able to take an action phase this round. Note that the action marker is the same color as the Beastmaster's action marker. That way, everyone can tell which mage controls the wolf. It's a color coding system. Now normally, as soon as a creature completes its action, the action phase is over and the other mage gets a turn. Players go back and forth, taking turns, activating and acting with one creature at a time until all creatures have finished taking their actions. But there is one special situation where the end of a creature's action is not the end of the action phase, and that is the quick cast action. Quick cast actions. Mages can take an additional special action each round, called a quick cast action. This allows the mage to cast one additional spell each round. and the spell must be a quick action spell, and it must have been prepared during the planning phase. Remember, quick cast can only be used to cast spells. It cannot be used to move or make regular attacks. When can you use a quick cast action? The answer is immediately before or after any friendly creature's action phase, including your mage, because again, mages are creatures. This means before you activate a creature or after you activate a creature, and that creature has completed all of its actions, that's when you can use the quick cast action. It's a nice little bonus that can be used to surprise your enemies or make combo plays, so use it wisely. Note, each action stage begins and ends with an additional quick cast phase. This is another time that a mage can use his quick cast action, but only if he does not use it during the regular action phases. So if you haven't used it yet, you can also use it at the end of the action stage. Going back to the Beastmaster's turn, he decides he wants to use his quick cast action right away, right after his action phase. He flips over his quick cast marker. Now he can cast his Staff of Beast spell, since it is a quick action spell. Since this is an equipment spell, it must target the mage. The card is placed on the Beastmaster's side of the board. Equipment cards are normally kept off the game board to reduce the clutter that you'll find on the board. The Staff of Beast costs 7 mana, so the Beastmaster subtracts 7 from his mana supply, bringing his total down to 3 mana. Now that the Beastmaster has finished his quick cast action and has already finished all the action for the creature he activated this turn, his action phase is over and it is the Warlock's turn to act. Warlock action phase. The Warlock's first action phase will be very similar to the Beastmaster's. He must activate himself by flipping over his action marker. He declares that he will summon a Firebrand Imp, which is a full action spell. He pays the 5 mana, bringing his total down to 14. Place the Firebrand Imp in the same zone as the Mage card, and give the Imp an inactive action marker. He also declares that he will use his quick cast action at the end of his action phase to cast Lash of Hellfire. He flips over his quick cast marker and pays the 8 mana for the equipment spell. This brings his mana supply down to 6. And then he places the card on his side of the board, again, to reduce clutter. Now, it would be the Beastmaster's turn to act with another creature, but since there are no active creatures left in the arena, you can tell because all the action markers have been flipped over to the inactive side, normally there will be a final quick cast phase, but both mages have already taken their quick cast action, so nothing happens in this phase. The round is over. That was round 1, but we're going to go all the way through round 5. This video only has round 1, so make sure you check out round 2 in our next video. I'm Alan Gerding, and this is Mage Wars.